Hi, welcome back to our Spider-Man video feature. This time we're looking at Spider-Man Web of Shadows, which came out in 2008, developed by Treyarch. Probably the best Spider-Man game out so far. I mean, we'll see with the release of Amazing Spider-Man later this month, but yeah, this is probably my favorite Spider-Man game I played. This all deals with good and evil Spider-Man, which, you know, big thing in games nowadays, being able to choose between good or evil. But as you can see, I'm red suit Spidey right now, and we'll just change to black on the fly. Yeah, so that's a big feature in this game, is the switching of the suits. You get to make choices at different points in the game, and we may get to see one of those pretty soon here. But yeah, the play styles of the different suits are actually very different. The red suit Spider-Man's kind of speed based, while the black suit's power based. So you get to see a lot of different types of combat, and I'll try to demonstrate both in this video. But yeah, it's a really great game. This is actually a Spider-Man game I can recommend. They really dropped the ball with Spider-Man 3 that came out before this, and this is kind of redeeming for the franchise, but unfortunately they lost it again when they went back to the Shattered Dimensions, which we're actually going to skip for this feature. We're just going to do the most recent one after this, but we'll get to that later. But as you can see, I'm just swinging around right now. I think the Spider-Man game had some of the best swing mechanics. It's really snappy. It's real fluid. You always feel like you have the most control. The biggest problem with this game, that is kind of a problem with every Spider-Man game, is camera control, which it can get a little hectic when you get stuck on buildings and you're climbing walls and stuff like that. And you might see a little bit of that in this video, and if you do, I apologize. But it's really easy for the camera to just go a little crazy in all of these games. So but overall, this one, it's pretty solid. Spider-Man 3 especially has like a camera that wants to just stick in place. So with this one, you get free control over it. But yeah, see, you get a spider sense, which I can send out right there. This is the Xbox 360 version. So I hold the left trigger and send out my spider sense, and I can locate nearby villains. There's actually a great deal of wall combat in this one, which is kind of the only Spider-Man game to have this level of wall combat. But it's actually pretty cool. You can get in some big fights, and right there you can see a little demonstration of the different kind of powers. Yeah, so we're just gonna we got an icon on the map over there. It's kind of our next mission. Right now I'm playing through the story mission. There's these little side missions, which I don't think I can do right now, so I don't think we're just gonna head straight for the story. But I'll just show a definite contrast in abilities. But Spider-Man Web of Shadows had a lot of interesting things. There's a lot of allies that appear in the game. Right soon here we'll probably see Nick Cage, another Marvel comic book hero. Yeah, this is kind of one of the first times you get to... There's Nick Cage right there in the yellow shirt, but this is one of the first times in the game you get to make a choice between good or bad. And the very first time I did this game, I was actually going to play bad, but I made the good choice, so we're definitely going to make the bad choice this time. But here's a little sample of some of my favorite parts of the combat, which is this web ability, which you can literally just ping-pong from bad guy to bad guy, and it's a lot of fun and a big part of the combat in the game. You will use these abilities more than any other attack in the game. But yeah, I'm literally just gonna bounce from guy to guy here. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll get into some more ground combat, but I mean there's oh man, yeah. So there's an example of one thing that did kind of bug me, is the targeting camera of the system. If you just click any direction with the right stick, he will switch camera or switch targeting. Yeah, basically I'm just clearing out these guys and making sure this meeting goes down. Nick Cage is trying to unite some of the gangs in this neighborhood. But there's a lot of other Marvel heroes that show up. Moon Knight, Wolverine, and the story mostly deals with Venom as your enemy. And it actually, you get an interesting thing, is you see... like, you have part of Venom's symbiote, which is why you have the black suit, and Venom is kind of taking over the city and turning everyone into symbiotes later on. But you actually get to see other Marvel characters with a Venom-like symbiote on them. At one point, Wolverine gets one, and it's pretty cool. A lot of similarities between the story of this game and Prototype, actually. It's kind of weird. Eventually, the city is completely overrun by, like, humans that are now symbiotes, and it's kind of crazy how similar it is to Prototype, and there's some very different games. But if you ever played both these games, you should know what I'm talking about. And if you have played Prototype, you should just play this game because it's probably better. But yeah, if you're looking for a great Spider-Man game, Web of Shadows is definitely one I would recommend. I think I said Treyarch earlier. It could have actually been the same company that's doing it now, Beanox. I know they've been handling the Spider-Man for a while, but I would say this is the last great Spider-Man game. Yeah, hopefully we'll be done with this yo-yo combat here real soon. The missions are not usually like this, I swear. But again, it's kind of fun. You know, there's actually an achievement for like getting some kind of crazy 100-point combo, and later in the game when the whole city's infected, you can just kind of hop down the streets and just keep doing this on everybody, and they're all kind of one-hit kill villains. Normally this isn't a one-hit kill, but for this mission, all these guys are just taking one hit. There's actually a lot of air combat. You'll fight a lot of guys on gliders, kind of like Green Goblin style, and you fight the Vulture at one point, and just the air combat stuff is actually really interesting. They did a really good job with the combat system. But right here, I should be able to decide if I'm going to make a good or bad choice. And yeah, simple as this. Just black or red. So we'll choose black. See what happens. I guess you just let them kill each other. Start a huge gang. Oh, man. Yeah, so here's a little of the ground combat now. Yeah, there's a upgradable tree, which I will show a little later. But yeah, let's switch to black, show some more power. As a black Spider-Man, you actually are stronger, so you can pick up cars and throw them. That's unique to this suit. But I kind of like some of the attacking with the speedy Spider-Man a little bit. So with the red suit, when you're web attacks, he shoots the web balls, but in the black suit, he shoots out the string and just like brings them towards you. And later, when you upgrade it, you get some really crazy abilities. I wish I had a later save file. I could have showed you some of that, but you know, you just have to play the game and see for yourself. There is also a PC version of this game. I believe it's Xbox, PlayStation 3, PC. There's like a DS version that's like a side scroller, and a PSP version, which I actually played those and they weren't that bad. Obviously, I would never recommend them, but yeah, there's a lot of combat stuff in this game. It's actually really great, and I really wish they could have kept their style with this game. This was actually the last open world Spider-Man game until the new one coming out this month, but it was really good. I like the voice acting in this one a lot better. Like, Spider-Man does have this goofy kind of voice, but that's really the character he was. He's this really weird, quirky, nerdy kid, and Tobey Maguire didn't really deliver on the voice performance in the original games, and this guy, probably one of the better ones I've seen so far. So that was kind of the end of the first part of the story. Now we can see some of the upgrades. As you can see at the top, we got red and black upgrades, and we got allies we can have. Right now, Nick Cage is pretty pissed at me because I made the bad choice. But you do get good and bad guys on your team, and it just kind of depending on how you side with the game, it can change a little bit. You can see a little bit of the combat there. That's actually a really good ability. Alright, but we're going to move into a little bit of the next part of the story here. So it's like a three-part game. The first part just kind of deals with you hanging out with Nick Cage, taking care of some New York gangs, and he kind of teaches you a lot of your abilities. Like, he taught you that web, like, slingshot ability, which is why you use it so much in the beginning. The second part deals with Kingpin. And like all those guys in red were actually Kingpin's troops, is why we're going to check them out. And I don't know why this game just froze. That's never happened before. Well, okay, folks. Sorry, we're back. Had a little hiccup there. This is actually a rental version of the game, and looks like it has some issues, but you got to see a funny little glitch there. But we're gonna jump back into it. Yeah, so we're heading to the Kingpin's lair because he's for some reason getting involved in what's going on in the city. But like I was trying to say before, this is actually a it's like a three-part game. Three-part game. The first part kind of deals with Nick Cage. The second part deals with Kingpin trying to like take over the city basically and corrupt Spider-Man. But the third part of the game, all hell has broken loose and Venom has completely taken over the city. And yeah, everyone's turned into symbiotes, and Kingpin's trying to save the city, and you're trying to save the city, but he wants all the credit because he's Kingpin and he wants more control. But you meet a lot of characters: Black Cat, the Rhino, Tinkerer, kind of a lot of random Spider-Man enemies that haven't really been in many other games. Moon Knight was one I mentioned earlier.
The stylish headquarters of the fattest man in crime. Hold on, something's up. Oh no, not her.
But there's actually some pretty good cutscene work in this game. Oh, here's Black Cat, probably some kind of chase me thing that's in every other Black Cat Spider-Man game. That's one thing they didn't really need to do, but it's not as bad as it was in Spider-Man 2.
I can never get enough of my little Spidey-Man.
Yeah, as you can see, they pretty much just lock you onto her and you can't really lose her. Yeah, so right there is telling me you can hold left bumper and run on the wall. There's not really like a sprint in this game. That like all the other Spider-Man games have had a sprint, and I hope they bring that into the new one because I think a sprint is a good thing to have. But that's kind of the closest you can get to it. I think they did some really good things with the mobility, especially with the web. Like you see, like when he just dives off the ground, he shoots the two strings. Like that gives you a real nice boost, and it's one of my favorite things. Especially like when I'll see if I can do it here. When you're standing still, yeah, you can do that little two web pull yourself up thing that kind of gets you quite a bit of air. One thing I didn't mention, those little spider icons, like the one I just picked up there. I'm pretty sure there's like 2,000 or something. Like there's a huge number of them in the city, and when you I know that when you collect 1,000, they show up on your map, your little mini map there, and you use those to kind of get your upgrades. You level up, and I can't exactly remember the significance of that. Here's a fun little thing: is you can slide on the building. When you're climbing, you can slide on your knees there, like he's a 70s disco guy sliding across the dance floor. But Spider-Man's got moves. Oh. Yeah, Black Cat, I'm pretty sure you encounter a few times throughout the game. A lot of similarities to Spider-Man 2 and sort of the better ways, I guess. I don't know. Spider-Man 2 is kind of an older game, and you see some of those same tropes kind of modernized in this one. These Black Cat following missions are an example of that. There's not too many of them, so you don't have a whole lot to worry about if you don't like these kind of things, like I normally don't. But you can't exactly fail them. Like, you're targeted on her the whole time. You really have to try to fail, so they at least took that into consideration. Although, like, you always move quicker than she does, or maybe she'll just get in some kind of stuck animation like that. Yeah, again, this is still pretty early in the game, so there's a lot of tutorials, but wall zip ahead of Black Cat. I'm just going to skip a little bit of that kind of stuff. You know, she's dressed in black, I'm going to dress in black too. Yeah, I really like the it's the comic book look of the black suit. You don't get a lot of the black suit in Spider-Man games all that much. Spider-Man 3, you know, it's the movie version, which I really like. I really like that movie version. I'd like to see if they do that in the new film series, if they're ever going to go there, see what that looks like. But yeah, I don't know, just kind of follow her a little bit. Kind of a bad part to show this game, but hopefully get to some combat here. This is definitely going on way too long. One thing, you can fall from any height in this game, and you will not get hurt. In Spider-Man 3, it did kill you.
Pretty little eyeballs in trouble again, no doubt.
It's kind of a nice angle we got there.
I must be seeing things. It can't be.
One thing I do really... Oh, yeah, here's some of Kingpin's glider guys, which I guess I ruined their little spoiler there. Yeah, he thinks it's Green Goblin or Hobgoblin, but Kingpin has these guys that fly around on gliders. Here's an example of the spider sense. Like when you use that, it'll highlight the guys. Yeah, so there's... Okay, so... Alright, finally we're going to get into some combat here. So, some of these guys have, like, these guys are a little stronger. There's my upgraded abilities. And when you do this attack, they'll block it, and you'll see, like, a little sensory thing come over. It didn't that time, but I'm sure you'll see it again if you didn't notice it already. And, when it happens, you have to kind of counter it. Like, there's a way that if you hit the button quick enough, you can actually counter them and do a stronger attack, or you can flip over them and hit them. Teach me how to block. You can flip over them and hit them and disrupt their attack, so then you can hurt them. Yeah, there's a kind of an example of some aerial combat. It works really well. You can keep it going for a while if you want. Eventually you can upgrade that ability to just over and over again, just keep doing that. And you can even just keep attacking some of these guys long after you've defeated them. And it's a lot of fun. Yeah, so now we'll get into some wall... Oh, no, never mind. Yeah, we'll get into some wall combat. I'm going to try to get stuck on the wall here. Alright, get up here. Yeah, so as you can see, he'll just hang out on the wall and just slide across and hit him. It's a lot of fun. I believe that's the only Spider-Man game they've done that in. That's never appeared anywhere else. I think this is actually where you meet Moon Knight. Oh, I know that's where he's hanging out later. I don't know if we're going to meet him here yet, but
Drop the device at once.
Moon Knight? Hello.
Drop the device at
yep, there he is.
I was fighting the bad.
I'm not a huge comic guy. I really like the Spider-Man comics, mostly Ultimate Spider-Man, but I never heard of Moon Knight until this game, actually. So, you know, if you're really not into a lot of... I'm going to skip some of these videos here. Sorry I didn't get to show you Moon Knight, but that was his ship. So I think this guy is actually going to kind of lead me to Black Cat. Yeah, that's what I was talking about before. They have the oh, there she is. That's what it is. Yeah, that's the R. You can jump over them and then get behind them to attack them. Otherwise, they'll just rebound against you and knock you down, and you'll have to start all over and just keep doing that attack. But this is the kind of the first boss battle I think I've had. There's quite a few interesting boss battles. They can be really slow and tedious, especially the one against Vulture, because you're just constantly doing like those kind of attacks the whole time. And he's constantly blocking you, and you have to just flip over him and keep trying it again. But the Vulture battle is, to me, kind of one of the highlights of boss battles in a Spider-Man game. The Black Cat ones, they're all right. But one thing I really like is the animation, like the swinging animation when he lands. He does these really nice landing animations, like just him flipping through the air. The costume change looks really cool. The combat animations, it was really a step up for this game. If you want to play a Spider-Man game right currently, Web of Shadows is the way to go. Yeah, I mean, just like you don't really, man, like what kind of game has this kind of combat where you're just flying over buildings and kicking people in the air, swinging around? Like, this is a game I recommend just kind of keeping around. You know, I love, like, something with me in Spider-Man games, I'll just swing around for hours and just have a lot of fun with that. I probably mentioned that in my other video, but I mean, I love Spider-Man. He's my favorite superhero. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna show all this battle, so I think we're gonna call it. This is Web of Shadows. Sorry about the little hiccup in the middle. Kind of working with some new equipment here, but check back for our next video. We're gonna check out the most recent Spider-Man game, Edge of Time, and then eventually we'll be looking at the new one, The Amazing Spider-Man, coming out on June 26th. So check back soon. All right.